Hey there guys, welcome back to my LP run for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. In this part we are going to be finishing off the level with only 2 bars of health, which is not ideal, but I do know there's a pizza at the end of this stage, so we're actually not in as much trouble as it appears. Thankfully, we're pretty close to the end of the level, and actually I would be in some trouble if I didn't have that health, because the boss of this level is pretty difficult. Well, at least he's pretty aggressive, so if I only had 2 bars of health left, I probably would be in some trouble. In terms of getting it done on 1 life, I don't think I could do that. We only have a few more foot soldiers to fight, though, from this point forward, and then we'll be getting to the boss. Actually, the boss here is pretty interesting. I don't believe he was ever in the TV show, but we'll get to that in just a minute. And that wall means we're now up to the boss. Thankfully we have some health for fighting him. He's a very difficult boss, and he's really unlike any of the other guys in the game because of the floating head. The head will kind of follow you around for the most part, and it stays off of him for most of the fight, so make sure that you're careful with your kicks. He's easiest to hit when the head is on his body, obviously, but the head will hurt you if it ever comes into contact with you. So if it comes down to you hitting his body versus getting hit by his head, just avoid the head. That can be hard to do at times. Just try to make sure that you're not getting hit by his head. That's by far the biggest obstacle of this fight. And he doesn't have a lot of health either. I mean, he'll go down fairly fast, thankfully, so you don't have to be overly precise with your kicks in terms of hitting him. Just make sure you don't get hit by the head. That's by far the biggest challenge here. Now, there's a kind of a cool little Easter egg thing I wanted to include here. I killed him so he's going to die right on top of the trapdoor, and it looks a little bit funny here. Rather than have the robot body that's left fall through the door, it just kind of stays there on top of it. And I always love to kill him that way, so that's why I made sure he died in that spot. Now we're going to be taking on the Technodrome, which apparently we have to still find. That's just an obvious grammatical glitch from the early Konami days. But the Technodrome in my book has the best song in the whole game. It's just really, really catchy. It's a hard level. It has some of the more difficult enemies from the game, obviously, but it's the last full level of the game, so what do you expect? Unfortunately, we have a couple more of these lasers, and we're only fighting the white guys here, so that's not too bad. They're one of the easier foot soldier types to kill, so this enemy is really annoying. The way you want to handle it is to kind of jump kick away from it, otherwise it'll freeze you, and it takes off a fair bit of health if it freezes you, so be careful with that particular enemy. It actually took me a long time to reach the Technodrome when I first started playing this game. It was a really big deal to get here. And I would usually only get here when I was very low on health, so getting to the boss, the final 3 bosses of the game was really a huge deal. Got a couple more of these annoying little turret guys. Thankfully I did a really good job here and I managed to take most of them out before they got a chance to attack me. This is the ideal way to take them out. You want to get right on top of them and use the special attack if possible. I got almost all those guys off the screen and that really helps conserving your life, so that's by far the preferred way to take them out. I don't know why this stupid gun turret enemy took some life off of me, but it did. There's not really a whole lot of pizza in the game, but there's enough that you'll be able to, you know, get it when you really need it, and you really need it in the last few levels, so. You definitely don't want to take on the last 3 bosses of the game without any health. We have another section now with a laser enemy, but for this part you can actually kill most of these foot soldiers before you even make it to the laser, so make sure you do that. Stay far on the left side this time, and don't get anywhere near that laser, if you can help it. Don't remember any white soldiers from the TV show. I don't think they ever appeared as being anything beyond purple, but I might be wrong. So we've got one more encounter now with these ice spraying guys, and then we will be moving on to the second half of the stage. So now we have a few of these annoying balls to dodge. No big deal though, just move to the bottom of the screen and jump over them where you need to. And then we're going to reach the point with the pizza, but you don't want to get it right away because we have a few foot soldiers to kill. Only take that pizza if you absolutely need it. The hard part of the Deathless run is actually still ahead of us. It's going to be the next fight, or the next 3 fights, really, that is the hard part. I usually don't have too much trouble with the boss of this stage, but the second and final boss, second to last and final boss of the game are by far the hard part. If you can make it through those 2 guys on 1 life, you can easily do the Deathless run. That's by far the frustrating part. So we have a few more roadkill Rodneys to kill. The worst programmed enemy in the whole game by far. I was really careful here not to get hit because I want every single pellet of health for the boss at this level. Unfortunately, I did take a little bit of damage. This song is really just so good, it just gets you pumped up and you know you're going in for the final fight here. Like, it's all coming down to this battle and you know this is the end of the game and you gotta just go in there and kick ass. Alright, so we are now up to the boss of this level, which is Generalragg. He's very similar to Lieutenant Granitor, but there are a couple of important differences. His missile is faster than Granitor's fire gun, and it also has a longer range. And I think he moves a little faster. He also probably has a little bit of a bigger health bar. He's a tougher version of Granitor, but if you can kill Granitor, you can kill Tragg. He's not that much harder. The strategy is going to be the same, which is where you're going to walk him up and down the screen, and you will slash him as much as you possibly can. You can perform the jump kicks against him, but I think that's a little riskier, especially with that electric door being in the right-hand corner of the screen. Just for the most part, it's better to walk him up and down. It can be hard to avoid his attacks, but you just have to be patient with him as much as possible. Again, this is not an easy fight, so just really take your time here. He's got a very long health bar, and you don't want to make any mistakes. Tragg I actually do remember from the TV show, so the first time I reached him I knew who I was fighting, and that was kind of a cool thing. He just takes forever to kill though, as do most of these last few bosses of the game. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I will see you next time. This is Josh Dragon signing out.